finish today within 1 hour.
Really easy.
But actually, that student's a little bit textbook because I didn't finish all of the equations yet.
I don't want to hold on.
If you have a plan for vacation in spring break,
Hopefully I get through after
you
tonight
better
and the other half
finish your
tomorrow.
homework full before the spring break because really it's very easy. You don't have to worry about the homework due after your break. And the second thing is about final project. Some students said you may be here, they will have some time during the spring break for final project. So I didn't prepare the final project program yet, but I will post a practice final project on BB system.
That's awesome.
That one is more complicated than the final project problem that you
That's
will
awesome.
have. So if you are done with that practicing problem, you will be able to reduce that one to your final project solution. So how about that? That one, I'm going to post it online right now.
You're right.
It will be much more complicated than what I will do in final project. So if you have
I don't think
time
I
during
am.
the spring
Like,
break,
don't we have to script it?
able to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's up to you. I'm not pushing you to try that one. Okay, it's up to you. You will have a feeling, you have a sense about what is the final project will be about.
I might move in front of you
Okay.
guys because the
This
screen's
is
not
second
working.
thing.
Oh, you don't have to move. I'll get up and move
And
your chair.
another thing is
Yeah.
I should explain a little more about the equation I
I'll wait
start
till he gets
last
to
time.
this.
This is the equation I start. This equation is used to relate the stress with the strain
There's one person watching.
acting on a so-called spatially isotopic composites.
She says hello.
This is spatially isotopic composites. All of the filaments are along sigma x or sigma y direction. This is sigma x, this is sigma y. So the definition of spatially isotopic composites means the direction, the orientation of these filaments are along normal stress direction. And this is a sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy in case you have shear stress acting on the composites. This one is tau xy. So this is the stress acting on these composites. This is the deformation of the composites we have. But actually, I put a epsilon L, epsilon T, and gamma LT here. That one can be replaced with epsilon X, epsilon Y, gamma XY. This column, in this case, can be replaced with this column. Why I can do that? Because this L and T direction are along X and Y direction. This is so-called spatially isotopic composites because L and T direction are the same as X and Y direction. So basically, I can replace this epsilon L, epsilon T, and gamma X with epsilon X, epsilon Y, and gamma XY. So this is the equation we anyways. This is a so-called stress-strain relation for the isotopic, spatially isotopic composites. And then today, we're going to have some equations for the generally isotopic composites. Another composite, but this time the filaments are not along the sigma x and sigma y direction. So this is the loading direction. Normal stress and shear stress. There's an inclined angle between the filament direction and the coordinate direction. So this is a definition so-called generally isotopic composites. And when you look at the stress states in these composites, this is external loading, sigma x, sigma y sigma y tau xy tau xy tau xy tau xy. This is a stress acting on these composites along x and y direction. So what is the relation between this stress and the strain? Because you are applying a stress on this material body, the material will be deformed, right? You will have strain, normal strain and also shear strain. So what is the relation that we should have? That equation can be derived from the equation that we have for the specially orthotropic composites. Because if we define a local coordinate, longitudinal direction is along the filament direction, transverse direction is perpendicular to the filament direction. In that local coordinate, this equation holds, right? This equation holds. But we need to rewrite this equation that in that local coordinate on the left, this equation for the that equation is for specially orthotropic composites because filament is along the sigma x and sigma y direction. And we can rewrite this one as sigma L, sigma T, tau LT. I'm rewriting this equation, okay? Because x and y direction in the local coordinate is along x and t direction. I'm going to replace x with L, y with t. Okay, so on the left is sigma L, sigma t, and tau LT. This one is the same. D is still there. This one, epsilon L, epsilon t, gamma LT. This is a strain-stress relation in that local coordinate. So-called local coordinate is you define your longitudinal direction along the filament direction, and transverse direction is perpendicular to the filament direction. So this is a stress-strain relation in local coordinate. And then we need to use something what we have learned in 321 for mechanics materials. When you have something like this, L and T. This is the inclined angle, right? And you have sigma x, sigma y, and also tau xy. So this is the inclined angle. This is the stress in xy coordinate. And in 321, or in mechanics materials, we learn some equation. Is that equation is about if we know what is the stress components in xy coordinate, I'm asking you to calculate what is the stress components in this inclined surface. When I'm telling you the inclined angle, you have the equation to use. That equation is so-called stress transformation equation. That equation is used to transform the stress in the global coordinate to local coordinate, or inversely. You can do that inversely. So there's a stress transformation equation you can use. The normal stress in the inclined surface is sigma x cosine theta plus sigma y sine theta plus 2 tau xy cosine theta sine theta. If you go back to check the notes for 321, you will see this equation. This is called the stress transformation equation. When you have stress in xy coordinate, I tell you an inclined surface. I'm asking you to calculate what is the stress components on that inclined surface. You can use this equation. This is first equation. Second one is the normal stress on that surface. This one is the stress along that surface. This one is the normal stress on that surface. Is sine theta plus cosine theta minus cosine theta sine theta. So this is the second equation. And tau LT equals to cosine theta sine theta plus sigma y cosine theta sine theta plus tau xy cosine square plus minus sine square. This is a third equation. So this is a so-called stress transformation equation. And then if we define m equals to cosine theta, if we define m equals to cosine theta, n equals to sine theta, then you will have sigma L, sigma T, tau LT. I'm going to reorganize those three equations into a matrix form. And meanwhile, I'm going to replace cosine theta with m and sine theta with n. So you will have a 3 by 3 matrix. You will need this equation in homework 4. Okay? So because some students still remember this, that is why they still can finish at homework 4. This is a stress transformation to relate the stress components in xy coordinate and the LT coordinate. And then similarly, we have so-called strain transformation, right? And then this equation also in 321. That transformation matrix is different from this one, slightly different. It's M, N, M, N, N square, M square, 2MN, MN, minus MN, N square, sigma x, sorry, epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma xy. So this equation is to transform the stress components. This equation is to transform strain components. On the left, this is a stress in the local coordinate. This is a strain in the local coordinate. We already have the relation between them. The relation is sigma L, sigma T, tau LT equals to D epsilon L, epsilon T, gamma LT. We already defined D in the previous derivation. So this is a relation between the stress and strain in local coordinate on the left. And then we rewrite this equation, use the first equation. This column, use the first equation. And rewrite this column, use the second equation. You can, because of objective here.
So you're at the left side.
Here.
The first equation, the right side of the second.
This one. On my notes is Mn. Here is minus 2Mn. Here is minus 2Mn. Here is 2Mn. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, here is Mn. This is correct. This is Mn. This is I messed up. I'm sorry. I messed up with this transformation equation. Yeah, they should be different. So this one should be Mn. This one should be negative Mn. This one should be negative 2Mn. This one should be positive 2Mn. Yes. Thank you. I messed up with the stress transformation equation. They should be different. These two transformation matrices should be different. So I'm going to use that the first equation on the left, 2Mn, n square, 2Mn, Mn, m squared minus sigma x, sigma y, power xy. This is the column on the left. Rewrite this column, and then equals to d times this column. This column is n squared n squared minus mn 2mn 2mn m squared minus n squared epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma xy. So this is the equation on the left, this is the equation on the right. And then this is the relation between the stress and strain in the global coordinate, in xy coordinate. And you can reorganize it. So on the left, sigma x, sigma y, power xy equals to an equation, a matrix times epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma xy. So how to get this equation? You need to do an inverse of this one and put it on the right. 3 equations, put it together, you get a 3x3 equation, right? It's very tedious. I didn't copy it, but I'm going to scan that matrix for you and put it on BB system. You're going to use this matrix. You can see that in the textbook. Look at this, 24.31, that equation. On the left is the stress. On the right is the strain. It's a 3x3 matrix. You see some numbers, Q11, Q12. We just, some numbers. I'm going to give you what is Q11, Q12.
You didn't want to write all that?
Actually, Q11, Q12 is here. I'm going to scan this page for you. You see, Q11 is here, Q12, Q21 is here, Q22 is here, Q33 is here. Why is this? You have Q11, Q12, Q21, Q33. This is from the D matrix. This one. D matrix is in terms of the Young modulus of filament and the Young modulus, the Poisson's ratio of the filament, many material constants. Okay, so when you put those constants into D matrix and put those 3 matrices together, you will get this equation. And I want to explain this equation to you. Actually, this is a 3x3 matrix. This is first term, this line and this line. The first term, this one, the second term, and this one, third term. And what of this m and n are determined by the inclined angle, theta, cosine theta, sine theta. Q11 is a function of EL, ET, and ULT, and UTL. And Q12 is also a function of that. Q11, Q12 actually are determined by the D matrix. Okay? So, and inversely, is this one. You have, in that equation, you have the stress on the left, strain on the right. You can do the inverse of that matrix. You get a strain on the left, stress on the right. You get another 3x3 matrix. So this 3 matrix is called compliance matrix. That matrix is called stiffness matrix. And that one is K. You see, there's a K. Yes, there's a K there. That one is for the stiffness matrix. I'm going to put this equation on BB system. If I copy it, it will take me a while. So, and it's very easy for me to make typos. You look at this, it's more accurate. Okay. So this one is called a stiffness matrix. And you can do that inversely. So this one is named as stiffness matrix. And you can do that inversely is epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma xy equals to S sigma x, sigma y, tau xy. So this one, the name is called applied matrix. How to determine that two matrix? That two matrix are determined by the inclined angle and that D matrix. Inclined angle is determined by your design. What is orientation you want to put your filament. Okay. The D matrix is determined by what material you choose for your filament and matrix. D matrix is this one. I'm going to copy the D matrix again for you. 1 minus mu LT mu TL mu TL mu LT ET this T matrix I already give to you last time is the relation is used to relate the strain in local coordinate and the stress in local coordinate. And in the textbook, they define K11 as the force term. Okay, they define K11 as the force term. EL mu LT mu TL. And K12 equals to second term mu TL EL minus mu LT mu TL equals to K12. And K22 equals to ET minus 1 mu LT mu TL. And K33 equals to GLT. In the textbook, they define some notations because they just don't want to put this much notation into that stiffness matrix and the compliance matrix. By this way, you can put as D equal to K11, K12, 0, K21, K22, 0, 0, 0, K33. So this is the D matrix, and then we come back to check. Come back to check this matrix. You'll figure out how to calculate this stiffness matrix in a global coordinate. These are defined in terms of EL, ET, mu TL, and mu LT already. So all of the K quantities are determined by the D matrix. And Mn are determined by the inclined angle. So you can calculate this 3x3 matrix. And then you can relate the stress with the strain in the global coordinate. This is the procedure. Okay?
Like the movie?
We're going to do several examples.
I'm good.
Before I do examples, I want to rewrite. I want to tell you, maybe you can put a notation, something like this. K, the stiffness matrix, for that one. In the exam or homework, you can use the notation I give you in the textbook, or you can do the three matrix, put them together, you can get the same result. I'm going to tell you how to do that. M to Mn, Mn, 4 minus Mn.
Advanced flight structures, we're talking about composites and how to calculate stresses.
This one is a stiffness matrix. And this one is used to relate sigma x, sigma y, tau x, y equals to k, epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma x, y. This is how we calculate that k. In the textbook, that equation, very complicated equation, we put this termination together already for you. You can do this. This is easier to memorize, to remember. Right? Three matrix, put them together. So you can calculate this. It's k. And inversely, is epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma x, y equals to x, sigma x, sigma y, tau x, y. And these matrix can be the inverse of this matrix. And in the textbook, they also have the formula for you already. You can write down that formula for your calculation, or you can do this inverse during the homework exam. It's up to you. So this is a definition of stiffness matrix and the compliance matrix for the generally orthotropic composites. When we have those two matrices, we can calculate what is the deformation of the composites. When you apply a loading on the composites, what is the strain along three different directions. So the first example I'm going to do is a very special example. Just generally orthotropic composites, and this is a filament direction. The inclined angle is 60, and the loading along this direction is 60. Loading along this direction is 40. Sorry, this is 45 degree, not 60. And EL, the modulus of the filament along the, no, this is not a modulus of filament, this is the modulus of the composites along the longitudinal direction is ET how to calculate these two quantities? Actually, this quantity I can ask you to calculate it. If I tell you what is the filament modulus and what is the matrix modulus, tell you what is the inclined angle and what is Moulin fraction, you should be able to calculate what is EL and ET. EL and ET is the modulus of the composites. Because you have two phases of materials, you have Moulin fraction, you can calculate this. But I'm giving this to you because this question is more if I ask you to calculate what is EL and ET, it will be more complicated. In the previous example, I tell you what is EF and EM, and then you calculate EL and ET, and then move forward. This one just skip that procedure. You don't have to calculate EL and ET. And GLT equals to 5,000. ULT 23. So this is a given modulus and Poisson's ratio. I'm asking you to calculate what is epsilon y, epsilon x, epsilon y, and gamma xy. I tell you what is the modulus of the composites. I tell you what is the loading acting on the composites. You're supposed to calculate what is the response. Apply loading on the material, it should be deformed. What is the response of this material to that loading? The first step, you want to calculate this. The equation that we have is S times sigma x, sigma y, tau xy. Okay? So you want to calculate that. We need to calculate what is S. And what is sigma x, what is sigma y, and what is tau xy? That is given loading. Sigma x is the normal stress along x direction, 60. Sigma y is the normal stress along y direction, 40. Tau xy shear stress, 0. The next step, we need to calculate what is S. Right? And you want to calculate S, you need to calculate what is P11, P12, this one equal to P21 is equal to P21, and P22 and P33. Basically, I'm calculating inverse of K. Right? I can figure out what is, this one is the element in B matrix. Right? When I figure out what are the elements in B matrix, and use that inclined angle, I can figure out what is K. When I have K matrix, I can do the inverse, figure out what is S. When I have S matrix, I can use this equation to calculate strength. This is the procedure. Okay? So, I'm going to skip all of the tedious procedure and tell you what is K matrix. So what is S matrix? Here M is equal to cosine theta. Theta angle is 45 degree. So this much. N equals to sine theta equals to this much. And then we come back to look at this equation. P11, P12, P22, P33. All of this small k can be determined, use the equation here. You already have this in your notes. All the small k can be determined by these equations because I give you what is ET, EL, mu LT, mu TL, all of them are given. So you can calculate all of the small k. And when you have this quantity, put this small k into this D matrix. You will have D matrix, right? And then next step, when you have D matrix, you have M and N already. M and N is cosine theta determined by cosine theta and sine theta. So you have D matrix, you have M, N, you can calculate what is K. When you have K, you can calculate what is S. So S matrix, this example is in textbook. They basically skip all of the procedures, so I don't have to skip. I do not have the intermediate number for you also. I do not have that number. And S matrix is this much. Why I do not have any number in the third column? Why do not care and what is the value of that number? When you look at the S matrix, I'm trying to figure out what is epsilon matrix on the left. Okay? And this is the equation on the right. S times this column, I think that is strength. But the last number in the stress is 0. So no matter what is number here, this row times that column, no matter what is number here, you got a 0. Right? So you don't have to worry about this. There's a 0 in the third row in the stress column. So this value doesn't matter much. No matter what is it, will not affect your strain calculation. So only this one times 40, this one times 40, plus this one times 60, plus this one times 40, you get the first strain components. And this one times 60 plus this one times 40, you get the second string components, and this one for the shear string components. Basically, gamma xy equals to this S matrix times 60 minus 40, 0. S matrix is here. So because this 0 number, you do not have to care about what is the value of this column. And the strain value this is the procedure how we use that equations. Apply a stress on generally isotropic composites. You want to figure out what is the deformation. This is the procedure. You need to figure out what is symmetry. So this one, yeah, let me check. It is symmetry. Yeah, S matrix and K matrix are symmetry because this too many numbers I can't memorize it, so it's symmetry. It's 45. 45, yeah. So I made a mistake. It's not 60. It's 45. So this is the first example. And the second example is even easier. Second example is pretty similar work with what I'm going to do in homework 4. Again, 45 degree.
So you must be each of those freshmen.
And this is a stress 120. This one is 45. And there's a shear stress here. Pi xy equals to 70. And I'm asking you to calculate what is the stress in the local coordinate or in the filament direction, L, T. Okay, filament direction is along the 45-degree transverse is perpendicular to the direction. What is the stress components in that local coordinate? For this one, you do not have to calculate anything, just do a stress transformation. Right? Just use that transformation equation. So this one will be equal to mn 2mn and m minus 2mn and m squared minus m squared sigma x sigma y pi xy. This column is given because this is x y coordinate. In xy coordinate, stress is given, and m and n is determined by the inclined angle. So this is basically what I'm going to do in homework 4. You see, just use this equation. But there's another one in homework 4. I'm asking you to, I give you a string. Calculate what is the string along filament and filament direction. So you use different transformation equation, transformation matrix, you'll get the solution. So this solution will be minus this is the stress components in the local coordinate. And still have time, I can do one more example for you. In homework 4, we not only have a stress transformation, we are going to have a strain transformation problem to solve. I'm asking you to calculate what is the strain along this L direction and T direction. Okay, you are going to use different transformation matrix because transformation matrix for stress is different from the transformation matrix for strain. Maybe I'm going to stop doing this example. This one is too easy. I'm going to introduce some composites language. This kind of composites common languages will be used in ANSYS analysis of composites. In the first week after spring break, Monday and Wednesday, Chris will be here show you how to do ANSYS analysis for composites. Okay? On Wednesday, I'm going to be back. Monday, probably I'm not going to be here. But Wednesday, I'm going to be here. And for composites, I didn't assign any homework, ANSYS homework for you. Okay? But he will show you how to do that in ANSYS, because in case you are going to take a course offered in our department, we have a course in our department called composites. In that course, you are going to do more simulations on composites modeling. So the first definition is called lamina. Lamina is one layer of composites. And also in some textbook or in some course, they refer to this lamina as a ply. Okay? Multiple plies will give you laminates, because a stack of lamina will be laminates. So a stack of laminas. So there's one common language that you are going to use in ANSYS modeling composites. The first thing is you will see some notation like this. I'm going to give you several examples and then introduce what is the meaning of this saying. So this notation means composites, how you are put your filament direction in that composites. So this 0, 45, 60, 90, and there's S there. This S means symmetry, okay? And the first 0 is the orientation of the first filament in the first ply. 2 is how many times you want to replace that filaments. So basically, you see this. I'm going to explain this to you. 0, 2 means 2, 0 here. Okay? 45, just 145. And 60, 2 of them. And 90, 2 of them. So basically, this is the filament, right? The first layer, you can put the first layer is 0. So this is the orientation of the first layer. You have 2 layers like this. This number means you have a filament, you have a lamina like this. The filament is along X direction, and that 2 means you have 2 layers of this. And then above of this, you want to have a 45, 1. That means you want to have 1 layer of composites, 1 layer of ply. In that ply, the filament is along 45 degree direction. Okay? Basically, this is the meaning. And how many layers in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have symmetry. So in total, we have 14 layers, 14 plies. So each ply, this number will give you what is the direction of that filament. So this is the meaning. And this S means you have symmetry, 60, 60, 45, 45, 0, 0. So this is the meaning. This is the meaning of this notation. In ANSYS modeling, maybe Chris will tell you, okay, build a composites model for me like this. And he will change these numbers. This means basically you should understand this notation like this way. How many layers in total you will have? And for each layer, what is the orientation of the filaments? The number will give you what is the orientation. Okay? 45, yes. So this is a first notation. And sometimes we have another different one. 0, 2, 45, 2, T. What is the meaning of this one? T means total. It's total layers of the plies. Okay? This one, the meaning this is the same. There's no symmetry layers. This T means total layers, so 4 layers. This is a model of the composites you should build for this notation. And sometimes we have 0, 45 to 90. Yes. Sometimes we have such a notation. There's a bracket, and this bracket, I'm going to put a 2 there. So what is the meaning of this one? We are going to repeat this one twice. Okay? It's different from 0 to 45 to. This one is not equal to 0 to 45 to 90. This one is not equal to that one. Because this one on the left, this one is equal to 0, 45, 0, 45, 90, yes. We are repeating these 2 layers twice. And this one, you are repeating this one twice and then this one twice. So it's different. So on the right is 0, 0, 45, 45, 90. This is some common languages you need to know, because in Ansy's lab session, maybe Chris will bring this to you directly. He will not explain this to you. Build a composites model for me with this. So I'm going to stop here, and on Friday we're going to learn something different.